Hi, I'm John Ratzenberger from the show Made in America and another show that was set in a bar in Boston. Now, most people associate me with that show, but I was born in Bridgeport. I love Connecticut, but I don't love what's going on. People losing their jobs, taxes going up, and families really struggling. That's why I'm supporting Linda McMahon for U.S. Senate. I first met Linda while we were working together on the board of Sacred Heart University. And I've seen firsthand how Linda really cares about helping people. Linda never forgot where she came from. Never forgot how tough it was to lose everything and fight your way back. It's called the American Dream, and that's why she's running. She wants to go to Washington to protect the American dream from the career politicians. Let's make Connecticut great again. Please join me in supporting my friend, Linda McMahon, for the United States Senate.
I'm Linda McMahon, candidate for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Paid for by McMahon for Senate 2010.
Good morning and welcome to Greenwich Entrepreneurs. I'm Greg Skidmore, president of Bellray Asset Management. I'm here with my co-host, Pedro Ramirez. Good morning, Pedro.
Good morning, Greg.
And we're here with our guest, Carolyn Humphreys, and she is the marketing director of Sunlight Solar Energy. So good morning.
Good morning, Greg. Really nice to be here, Pedro.
Good morning.
What's your website so people can kind of check it out while we're doing the show?
Sunlightsolar.com. We try to keep it simple.
So let's just start off. Tell us a little bit about your company, and we'll go from there.
Sure. We're a design installation company. We do all manner of solar energy. So solar photovoltaics, which is electricity producing solar hot water, or also called solar thermal, and solar pool heating, which is really a no-brainer that hopefully we'll get to talk about.
And so your company works a lot in Connecticut. You do a lot of installations in Connecticut. Is that true?
We've probably done around half of all of the solar electric installations in Connecticut.
Okay.
So we were one of the first ones here. We're one of the largest, most established solar firms, really in the nation, because this is such a nascent industry.
Now, I really don't know a lot about, solar and installations. So I'm sort of curious. Is it been adapted by residential homes? Has it been adapted by commercial? Is it a mix? Who's interested in solar energy right now in Connecticut?
It's a mix,
okay.
And a lot of people are interested, and it ebbs and flows in terms of who's dominating in installation of systems. You know, if you asked me 4 years ago, I would have said, we're going to have these utility scale installations, we're going to have a lot of big commercial, and we're going to have some homeowners adopt this. But in fact, it's worked out that an amazing number of just homeowners have said, I can take control of my energy costs. I don't have to be at the mercy of the utility companies. I can do this myself. And, if you have an appropriate roof, you can. And so we've done over 550 installations just in Connecticut.
Wow. Peter?
Tell us a little more about what you mean when you say take control of your energy costs.
Well, right now, your only option is to pretty much look at your electric bill, cry a few tears, and pay it, right? and most people do that, and they really don't even know how they consume it. I liken it to shopping in a grocery store where you fill your basket and you check out, but nothing was priced individually. So, you kind of look at the end result, not really sure. I mean, you have suspicions, but you're not really sure even how your bill got there,
Right.
And this is so it's a kind of a multi-prong approach that people are taking. They're realizing that if they look into energy efficiency, I mean, that's the low-lying fruit. That's the easiest way to save money. Just switch all your light bulbs out to compact fluorescence, and you're halfway down the road. And so, a lot of people think that there's this order to it, energy efficiency first. But the reality is, it doesn't really matter what order you do it in, as long as you are looking at the multiple options before you. Energy efficiency makes sense. Like, I don't do that. That's not my business. But we're so related to energy efficiency, right? Because obviously, the lower you get your bill, the easier it is for me to then cover that bill with a system that is more affordable. I can optimize you. We're always looking to optimize your investment.
Got it. So, I actually heard something really interesting. I was listening to this guy speak about energy efficiency, and he said one of the things that we don't do, and you brought up the issue of feedback, is that, with the stock market, what your investments are up or down every day. And And he was proposing the idea, well, what if, radio stations announced every day whether or not, the town's energy was up or down relative to where it was last year. And so that type of feedback, whether it's in your home or as a town, it allows you to make changes. Without that, you just don't know. It's like, you feel like you're doing something. But
you make a really good point. Yeah, and people are getting into smart homes where they're monitoring everything. And I was just discussing that with my husband last night. I said, because we're doing an addition for the house, it's extremely energy efficient. And we kind of hadn't gotten there. When you're building, there's a lot of things to take into consideration. But these systems typically pay for themselves in very brief periods of time. When you're talking about 6 months to less than 2-year payback periods, where everything after that is savings, these are dollars we can keep in our pocket and then hopefully spend, in our local economy, since that's really how we function as Americans.
So if I'm a homeowner or business owner and I'm thinking, okay, I want to check out to see if I can actually cut down my bills, and I'm okay making a little investment as long as I get back my investment in a decent amount of time. Where do they start?
Well, most people are starting with home energy audits.
Okay.
Again, this isn't my field, so
Yeah.
I can really say with, I hope, some credibility that the government right now is subsidizing those so heavily. The Connecticut Energy Efficiency Fund, not the funds we use Connecticut Clean Energy Funds, but
Okay.
the Connecticut Energy Efficiency Funds, or CEEF, provides these energy audits at about $75 to the homeowner, anywhere from, 25 to 75, depending on what kind of offer these companies are making. They're being paid $800 to $1,000 of public funds to perform these audits. So,
wow.
they come in, they're not really an energy audit, they're really an energy analysis, but they come in and they change out light bulbs and they put in door sweeps and they do
I
all
had that
sorts
done.
sealed.
You did?
Yeah. And so those things, $75 obviously pays for itself, right?
It was free.
Yeah, well, they were free. It varies, how much funding is there,
Yep.
and, these programs shift and change. And so a lot of people will think, oh, I'll do that, down the road. Well, the incentives, like right now, solar just happens to be, there's been periods where I come in and I say, you know what, you might want to wait if you're a business, this would not be the waiting time. Solar hot water incentives just got pumped up to extraordinary levels. I've never seen that happen. In 4 years, I've never seen rebates come in and then they tend to go down over time.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened is these are ARA funds, America Recovery and Reinvestment Act funds. So they're federal funds that were dedicated for solar hot water. Well, they weren't being used. Not enough. And so they pumped them up by 60% because if we don't use them, we have to give them back. Nobody wants to give back federal funds that we could be using in Connecticut. So if you have any inclination to looking into solar hot water, that's a much simpler technology than solar electricity. It's 2 or 3 collectors. They look just like skylights. They're literally flashed in and look identical. If your neighbors all start getting skylights, those are solar hot water collectors.
So then, sorry, Greg.
No, go ahead.
Everybody loves solar. I know it's hard.
Well, it's interesting, I guess, when, inertia, we have these systems, we buy
Yeah.
a house, blah, blah, blah.
Sure.
All right, so now you get people that go into doing the audits, and you get some information back, and my house was not good. But, and it really,
Join the club.
even after they did all sorts of things.
Sure.
But so what am I looking for when I look at my house to know that I could do this? And the other thing that's big too is any change brings a level of hesitancy.
Right.
So
absolutely.
talk about that if you
No,
want.
you're right. We're all resistant to change, including myself, and I think the realization, I like Jody Rell's campaign, Just One Thing. She said, do one thing. And what's so great about that is instead of becoming overwhelmed, which we, if you look out there, especially, the way the media works now, everybody's problems are now, before us. And if you really just start with one thing, I asked an engineer, this guy had like 3 engineering degrees. I said, dollar for dollar, what's the best thing I can do on energy efficiency? He said, change out your lights, compact fluorescent bulbs, and insulation. So if you're sealing, and start with your roof or your ceiling, depends. You can insulate either. But if all your air, and then of course your envelope. So if you have a lot of leakage, if your windows and everything,
That's what
it
we
doesn't
have.
mean you need to put in brand new windows. Put in like window curtains. Of course, this is hilarious that I get caught up on the energy efficiency conversation when that's not what I do at all.
Right.
I do solar energy,
I was
right?
thinking that as
But
you
it's
just-
but I know
you were
it's
saying
hard
that.
because we're passionate about energy, use being reduced so that I can put in a smaller system. Now, typically people trying to sell you something and want to sell you the largest system, right? That's not how we work because I'm going to do a higher volume if I do the right thing.
Well, you've got a relatively. Actually, the product is not that new, but in a way, it's taken a while to be adopted.
Right.
So I would think a larger part of what you do is education,
Yeah.
and that's where the energy efficiency
Huge.
comes in, right?
Yeah, huge.